Hey guys, Steve Welch here, Beaman Toyota. Wanted to redo this video for a while now, and I think you guys will see why if you saw the old one. But I want to show you guys Safety Sense, how it works, how it makes you safer, and basically how it can make your life a whole lot easier too. So we'll talk about it a little bit, and we'll get going. And definitely appreciate you guys. Let's have some fun, right? Okay, so I am in my Tundra, of course, and we're gonna get onto the highway here. So what you'll notice is that there's a lane departure is right here. It looks like a little car that's getting out of its lane. All right. If you use your turn signal and you change lanes with your turn signal, you won't have anything that's that beeps or anything else. Depending on the safety sense that you have, your lane departure can either just beep, which is beep beep, and it'll bump your steering wheel, put you back in. There's a safety sense like in the old Tundras, also in the 4Runners that won't move your steering wheel. Tacomas won't move your steering wheel, at least yet. But the new Tundra does, and most of the other cars will bump your steering wheel back. So how does that work? That's pretty easy. If you get off to the side, it'll start to put your steering wheel back. Mine vibrates, right? So it just vibrates and it'll bring your steering wheel back. All right. So that's kind of what it's meant to do. If you have your hands on the wheel, of course, then you know how that works. But it's meant to where if you're distracted, it'll bring you back, and you can kind of see how it'll end up bringing you back if you just kind of let it go. See how it brings you back into the lane. Now, it's not meant to peg you into your lane when you're in just that mode. All right, so I'm going to talk about lane tracing here in a second. So beside it, I'm going to go ahead and by the way, you saw this line, maybe you see that the line will actually show up depending on the vehicle you have. It could look a little bit different, but it usually will have the white line that'll either turn orange or it'll flash, or there's stuff that it'll do depending on the safety sense that you have. The Tundra has Safety Sense 2.5, which is a pretty comprehensive suite of safety that's really amazing, right? So now I've turned on my cruise control here, right? And it'll say radar cruise active. All right, so what's radar cruise? It's dynamic radar cruise control. So DRCC is commonly what it's referred to. So what is it? Well, you see the car ahead of me, right? So if I match their speed, then what you're going to notice down here is it shows that car. It shows 3 lines that are right here, right? So it shows those 3 lines. Well, if I hit this button, it's got the car on it, it's got 3 lines on it, it'll put those lines to 2 lines and then to 1 line. So it just sped back up to catch back up to this car. Now, if that car was to slow down, my vehicle's slowing down right now because the car ahead of that car is going slower, right? So you'll see this is the closest distance that the safety dynamic radar cruise control will allow me to take. But what's really cool is that since I'm in dynamic radar cruise control, the truck, and I've got my hands off the wheel. You shouldn't do that, but I got my hands off the wheel. I'm close enough, right? But my truck is actually maintaining the center of the lane now. So and you can see it says, put your hands back on the steering wheel, right? So I can kind of loosely hold it here. There's a turn coming up. So while in dynamic radar cruise control, when your vehicle is going to know that you're basically cruising, right? And it's going to steer around corners and stuff like that. It does not want you to not have your hands on the wheel or not be attentive. It's not meant to take over. It's meant to assist, right? But you saw it just took us around that corner, right? So it will actually help you. You shouldn't. Now this car is slowing down, right? My vehicle is hitting the brakes right now. So that's something that I wanted to point out too. So my truck, it's hitting the brakes more, right? Because whoever's coming up here is going slow, right? So people have asked me before, if it hits the brakes, does it turn on the brake lights? And the answer is yes. If your vehicle hits the brakes, even if you're not pushing the pedal, it will turn on the brake lights for you. So that's something there. In the very center here now, depending on the car that you're on, it'll see different things, but it shows the speed limit. All right, so you have road sign detection. So what will it see? It will see stop, yield, do not enter, and the speed limit, right? So at any point, if you're driving in your vehicle and you look down and you see a speed limit sign there, that is the last speed limit sign that you passed. So, and it's not GPS, it's actually watching the side of the road to see those speed limit signs. So if it sees a speed limit sign and it changes it, it will change it there. If it all of a sudden went to, 90 miles per hour or 70, it will change it from seeing the speed limit sign. If you go through a construction zone and it says 45, it will change what it sees. As long as it sees that sign, it'll change that. It does not change your speed. You cannot mark your speed to that, but it does give you that alert of what your speed is, right? So, and we'll show you going around this corner again. It's going to follow those lines. It's using a camera that's behind the mirror and a millimeter wave radar that's actually behind your Toyota emblem, right? So, and it has a sensor in the wheel. It can sense if your hand's on the wheel, by the way. Which you see me put my hands back on the wheel. I'm not actually turning it. I'm letting the car do it just to show you guys how it works, right? So it uses the camera and the millimeter wave radar. So those two things will agree. When they agree, it knows that the car is ahead of you and it reacts accordingly, right? Now you also have a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection. Well, that sounds really good. What is that? If there is a imminent wreck that the car sees between you and the car ahead of you. So basically it watches the closing distance between you and the car that's ahead of you. If that distance becomes closes fast, if that car slams on the brakes and you obviously can't react as quick as the computer did, the center screen, you'll get a brake notification. That's on any of the cars that have safety sense. It will turn red. There's different ways that it does it, but you'll know that it's doing it. And you'll hear it go beep, 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 and it will turn red, and it will let you know that it's going to slam on the brakes if you don't take action. If you take action, the car will let you have it, right? Now watch this. So I'm still in lane tracing, so it still wants to be in this lane. If I turn on my turn signal, it won't fight me, anything like that, right? And now you see that it's going to speed up because I'm not with that car ahead of me anymore. So it's going to go ahead and it's going to speed up for me. So a lot of people make jokes about that's when you look down and see you're going 45 behind the car, that because it's so smooth as it slows down and speeds up, that you'll look down and you'll be going 45 behind the car and go, what am I doing? And sometimes that works out that way. And I just overrode it by hitting the brake, of course, from the radar cruise control. So the lane tracing and the lane departure, which are those two things I was talking about, those only come into play over 32 miles per hour. And it's just, there's a reason for that. Obviously, you don't want lane departure fighting you if you're driving through a parking lot, or sometimes in little neighborhoods or something like that. That can be an issue because maybe the lines don't look good. Who knows, right? But so the other thing I wanted to mention too is that lane departure, it also has what's known as road edge detection. So what happens if the lines aren't there? All right, obviously that's a less safe way to drive because the vehicle's looking for the lines. But what happens if there's snow, if there's ice, things like that? Now it's always going to look for the road edge, and it's going to try to alert you if you get close to the road edge. But keep in mind, safety sense, dynamic cruise controls, things like that, you shouldn't use those in inclement weather. Don't use them in the rain for these convenience types features, right? Don't use them in the rain, don't use them in the snow and the ice. If the car can't see the lines, it can't adjust you, right? If you're going through a construction zone and the lines are all screwy, right? It can't adjust you. It doesn't know what it's looking at. So you don't want to do that, right? So Basically, as long as you can see the lines, once you get over 32, most of them will beep. Like I said, the Tundra, it will give me a little vibration on the steering wheel, which is really cool. I know the Sequoia will do the same thing. I think they're going to that on all of them, which is, I mean, it's a little less annoying than what the beep is, but the beep will wake you up, and I don't know why it does. It just does, right? So we've already talked about the lane departure, the pre-collision system. We've already talked about the road sign. Now let's talk about the pedestrian detection, all right? So what does the pedestrian detection do? Well, it kind of works the same way as your pre-collision system. But what it does is it's looking for a biological, right? So a person, right, that would be walking in front of you. So when it looks for that person, it's watching for either side, of course, and it's watching for that person to walk across. And if and it's watching for a level between 3 feet and about 6'2". That's really about the size it's looking for, right? So if a skunk runs in front of you, you're still going to hit it. Squirrel runs in front of you, it's not going to slow down, right? It's not going to react to a small animal. Now, Safety Sense 2.5 adds a couple things, which this truck has. You have an in-lane crash avoidance. So if there's something like a ladder that's laying in the lane, a bucket, something like that, it has the ability to do a slight veer within your lane to keep you from hitting that thing. The other thing that it has is it's basically a crosswalk avoidance. So what it'll do is if you're making a left or a right turn and somebody's coming through a crosswalk on either side, the vehicle will watch for that to see if somebody's in that crosswalk. And if somebody's in that crosswalk, it can help you to stop your turn, make sure you don't run them over, right? So it definitely watches for that. The other thing that it watches for is when you have a turn lane, right? And that turn lane is, a left turn lane, you're getting ready to turn, but the car that's coming from the opposite lane is coming so fast that there is no way that that person's going to stop, right? So if speaking of not going to stop, right? But there'd be no way that person can stop based off you're turning, right? And you're about to get T-boned. The car can actually stop your turn in that particular case. So there's just things that you can that system can do to just help you be safer. Now a lot of people have asked the question, well, will this override me? No, it's not going to override you. It's not going to, fight you. It's, you're still in control of the vehicle, and realistically, you should be. So you should not sit here and go, well, you know what? I've got the dynamic cruise control, and I've got my lane departure, and I got all this so that I don't really need to pay attention. I've had some people think that it would make them a better driver if they were impaired. Don't drive impaired. You still need to be in control of your vehicle. 100% still need to be in control of your vehicle. But it's nice to know that assistant is there. I've had issues before. My first wreck I ever had was because I fell asleep at the wheel. I mean, it happens. I mean, so basic, like I said, you want to be as safe as you can possibly be, of course. And all of these safety features can just make you a better driver. They make me a better driver. Of course, they make everybody a better driver. So hopefully, at least it would mitigate a collision, with the pre-collision system, as opposed to just flat out going into somebody, right? Another thing that you have is you have automatic high beams. All right, so your automatic high beams, now depending on the vehicle and the safety sense that you have, setting them up is a little different. Now, on my left dash, there is a button that's got a picture of the headlight picture, right? And it's got an A right in the very center, which that would show up on your dash over here. Got another video about the automatic high beams I've done. But that will show up right there for automatic high beams, and it will show you when you're in brights, and it will show you when you are not in brights. And there's ways to adjust when it comes on or when it doesn't. But some of them, you have to hit that button and push your stalk that's got your headlights on it forward to arm it. Some of them, you just hit that button and it arms it. How do you know? Oh, that's a really good question. If you have your headlights turned on and that button pushed in, if it says that, if it has that headlight symbol that's in green with the A in the middle, then you're on automatic. If it doesn't, try pushing your stalk forward. If you push that stalk forward and that A shows up, that's how you have to do it. So there's two different ways. They did it two different ways. Not really a better way to know than doing that, I don't think so. But that's where that is. Okay, guys. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the Toyota Safety Sense. Like I said, so there were several, you know, different versions of it. And I've got a video that goes over those, but it started with, you know, Safety Sense C and Safety Sense P, which was the first real, you know, rollout of it. It was in, you know, that we'll call that sometime around 2017 that some of the vehicles really started getting that. And then you went from that, you went to 2.0. Vehicles that are built today still have 2.0. It's still a great system as well. And then you went to 2.5, which your Highlander and your CHR and your Camry were the first to get 2.5. And now they're actually coming out with a 3.0, which goes a little bit above that. So Toyota, and I'm going to mention something else about Toyota. Toyota is concerned about your safety. And you can tell that Toyota is concerned about your safety. And one of the ways that you can tell that is because they give you Safety Sense included on every car, right? I mean, I don't know of a car they produce today that doesn't have one version of Safety Sense, right? So you don't have to pay extra, go to a higher trim level. You don't get pieces of it at one trim and then go to the next one. There's manufacturers out there that, yeah, they'll give you something that's similar to it, but only on their top two trims. So you've got to go up several $1,000s if you want your family safe. Toyota doesn't do it that way. Toyota does it to say, look, even on the base level, our base level is going to be safer than anybody else's. That's their goal, right? So they want to make sure they give you the safest car. And, you know, obviously if you have an accident, then they want you to be able to come back from it, of course, and you know, not be injured as much as possible. That's why they do so much for you. They give you all the airbags that you possibly want. I mean, most cars have either 8 or 10 airbags. I mean, it's crazy how many airbags will wrap you if you get into a wreck. You also have Safety Sense, or you also have Safety Connect. Safety Connect is the ability to make an emergency call, and it can call autonomous. So basically, it doesn't need your phone. It can call Toyota and ask for help, and if you don't respond and it notices you've been in a crash, they can find out where you are and send help. So it's an amazing thing, and it's really good that follows you, of course. So lots of things with connected services, stuff like that, but obviously wanted to show you guys the safety sense here and how this works, and I definitely appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys think. If there's something that I missed that you guys want me to go over, I'm happy to do that. But a few of you guys have asked me to redo this video. Appreciate that, of course. And I know the other one was pretty shaky. So hopefully I made this one a little bit better for us. And we'll kind of go from there. I tried to do it on a road that was going to be a little less bumpy. So we'll see how it worked out, right? But I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later. Steve Welch, Beaman Toyota in beautiful Nashville. You guys have a great day.